I've been playing this game called Skyrim. I really like it because it resembles Sweden in the most perfect way. In the game there is a sword called the steel sword, and I thought it would be really cool to make that sword into a pendant. The only problem is I don't have any experience with like casting and doing jewelry, and that's why I have my best ginger friend here to help me.
Hello!
I'm Oskar.
And I'm Tom.
We are two friends from the Skyrim Knife and Fork.
We're gonna be making some of your favorite in-game items and some items you may have never seen before.
This is Ginger Art, Reforged.
No, not really Reforged because it's the first episode.
Yeah.
We're going to be doing sand casting. So, Oskar, why don't you explain a bit about that?
Yes, Tom. When you do sand casting, you have a flask, then you put the sand in one part of the flask and you take what you want to cast, put it in the sand, you take the other part of the flask and then you take more sand and put on top. So then you can take the flask apart and then you can take out what you want to cast, put the flask together again, and then you pour metal in there that is molten, and that will make a perfect copy of what you put in the sand.
And that's where I come in, because we need something that is the shape of the thing we want to put into the sand. So I'm going to be carving that out of a piece of ash wood. So here is the steel Skyrim sword from Skyrim. So I'm just going to try and draw this out to the wood itself. Very simple to do, just to do it. So I have a trusty Japan saw. I'm going to saw out the basic shape of the sword. So now that we have the basic rough edge sawn out for the sword in the wood, the next thing is to file it down with a file to really get that nice and fine shape for the casting to be done correctly. We will do some more filing after the casting is done, because there will always be a little bit of leakage everywhere that we have to clean up. But for now, I will give this over to my best ginger friend for the next part.
Oh! Thank you, Tom. Now that we have the wooden sword, we can start making the sand casting mold. We have this special sand that is made for casting. You cannot use normal sand because that will not work. I have tried. First gonna take this part. We're gonna put it on a flat surface and we push the sand down so it's quite tight. Because if it's too loose, the thing we try to cast will just fall out of the hole. I have an old hammer handle here, which we can use to bang this really hard. And then you take a metal ruler and then you can scrape this clean. So then you have this very flat surface, and now we have a really good surface here. So now we need to have something to put on the sand, so when we put more sand it does not stick to this old sand. And I use cornstarch. You don't need too much and you don't want to wipe it off. We're gonna take the wooden sword we have, put some more because we really do not want it sticking. Push the sword into the sand halfway down, take the metal ring and make sure that the line on the metal ring is in the middle. And now we're gonna take more sand here from the other side. Try to make it compact again. Now we have sand on this side as well, so we just take the metal ruler and just scrape it off to make the channels inside so we can get the metal to where we want it. We need to take this apart. Now I'm gonna take a drill bit and I'm gonna kind of drill through the sand so we get a good hole where we can pour the metal. Now we see we have a hole here that goes all the way through, and I am going to take a scalpel and I'm going to carve a funnel. If you don't have a funnel, the molten metal might run to the side. Then you can get it on your little toesies and that will be very painful. I can confirm, it's very painful to get molten metal on your toes. And now I have this little thinner metal wire, and this I'm gonna take and push holes through, because then you have air that can come out. So now we have the air holes that goes out and the big hole that goes in. We can just take these two parts, and it's very important that you have the line here and the line there and they come together, because otherwise you'll have half a sword that goes one way and half a sword that goes the other way. Now we're going to use the gas torch to melt the silver. Gas and open flames are very dangerous and should always be done by a professional, so do not try this at home. So now we have the finished sand casting mold, and now we need to melt this silver so we can get it inside the mold and turn it into a sword. Now we're going to light the gas torch. This is very dangerous. So now we have the molten metal inside the sand. Now it's really warm, so you have to be very careful. Get water so you can put the metal piece in water so it becomes cold. Okay, so now the silver is cold and I can touch it without burning my little finger. Now we're gonna clamp part of the casting that we don't want in a vise. Take a hacksaw so we can just cut off what we don't want. Now after the casting we have these rough edges we don't want. So we are going to take the smallest file we can find and clamp the sword in the vise and file away. It's important to keep your files clean, so I use a piece of bamboo that is like a wedge and I just scrape it clean like this, because when you get metal in your file they can leave bad scratches on the thing you are filing, and that is not good. So now we're doing the last filing to get exactly the shape we want, and this can take quite a bit of time because you don't want any sides to be too sharp, because then you might hurt yourself when you wear this beautiful necklace. Okay, so now the sword is in the pickling bath, because we need to get rid of all the oxides, and otherwise it will look really black, because now we have soldered the rings so we can use it as a necklace, otherwise it would just be a tiny sword. So this is citric acid and it removes all the oxidation from the silver. Okay, so now we're going to polish the sword with a flex arm attachment for a Dremel machine. Here we have a soft polishing attachment thing, and here we have some wax that we're gonna use to polish. It's very important to wear eye protection, because this can come into your eye and then you will not be able to see what you're polishing. So we're going to start the Dremel, and we're going to just get a little amount of polishing on there. And now we're just gonna polish until it's very shiny.
I've always been amazed by casting and forging. All the preparation and fine polishing that shapes this hard piece of metal into something completely different. I am very lucky I have such skilled friends to help me with ideas that I personally cannot complete myself. And it's astonishing how even though things sometimes don't turn out the way you expect, the art is still beautiful.
So as you can see, miraculously, the sword turned into a cross. Cause the only weapon you really need is the love of Jesus Christ. My name is Tom Chiron.
And I'm Oskar.
And thank you for watching. Subscribe in the description down below.